We were craving cool air and green hills, so we left Kuala Lumpur early one morning for a quick escape to the Cameron Highlands. It's supposed to be an easy 4 to 5 hour bus ride, but that's not exactly how it went. Broken down buses, jungle roads, and some of the best views we've seen in Malaysia. So, was it worth the journey to the Cameron Highlands? We'll let you decide. We left Kuala Lumpur early, heading into the hills for a quick escape to the Cameron Highlands. It's supposed to take about 4 or 5 hours, but that's not exactly how it went for us. Our bus kept overheating, so we'd pull over, wait, and hope the engine would cool down enough to keep moving. I was starting to get a little nervous about the big hills still ahead. We made a quick stop, complete with my least favorite squat toilets, and then carried on into the Highlands. The road up is full of hairpin turns, like dozens of them, winding through thick jungle as you climb over 1,500 meters above sea level. The air gets cooler with every curve, a full 10 to 15 degrees cooler than KL. The scenery gets more dramatic as you climb. Lush green hills and winding roads, but the curves, brutal. If you're prone to motion sickness, take something before you get on, trust me. So we made it to the Cameron Highlands. That was quite a bus journey. It was really beautiful, but you just kept going up and up and up, left and right for many hours. I'm not prone to car sickness, but even I was getting a little rattled there, so happy to be here. We made it to Tanah, Rata, one of the main towns in the Cameron Highlands and our base for the next 2 nights. It's quieter than you might expect for a tourist hub, a mix of guest houses, cafes, and a handful of restaurants, all tucked between misty hills. We checked into the Zenith Hotel, one of the bigger, more modern options in town. It's right near the main strip, so we could walk pretty much everywhere. That's us all checked in at the hotel, so it is at the top of the hill, so just walking back down now, and there's a market going on just right there, so check that out. We followed the crowd down to the central night market in Tanah Rata. Because it was Ramadan, the vibe felt special, a gentle buzz of activity as locals picked up food to break their fast. Stalls were full of grilled satay, roti john, and fried snacks. Families chatting, vendors smiling, everyone getting ready for a shared meal. We tried a few things, and it was all very tasty. That kind of easygoing mix is what makes these markets so fun to wander through. After the buzz of the market, Tanah Rata quiets down, but it doesn't go dark. Instead, the town lights up in a different way. Strings of colorful lights stretch across the streets, almost like it's always a little bit festive. So one thing I'll say is that it is definitely much cooler up here in the Highlands. It dropped about 20 degrees Fahrenheit from where we were in Kuala Lumpur up here to the Cameron Highlands area. So if you're here and it's warm, hot, muggy in Malaysia and you're looking to cool down, then you might want to check out the Highlands. Shop fronts glow with warm light. It's calm but not empty, just slow moving. The kind of place where you can take a quiet walk after dinner and still feel like there's a little magic in the air. We've only got one full day in Cameron Highlands, so we've gotta make it count by getting out and about. So renting the motorbike was easy enough this morning. We just went to the main road and stopped at a shop You could rent for various periods of time, so we chose 6 hours, which I believe was 45 ringgit since it is the weekend. They charge just a little bit more. They did ask for Jimmy's passport and his license, and they checked to make sure that he did in fact have a motorcycle license, which is good. I will say that's more than pretty much anybody else has ever checked since we've been renting motorbikes in Southeast Asia. So very diligent here, which is really good. Renting a bike is probably the best way to explore the Cameron Highlands. Everything's pretty spread out, and riding through the hills is half of the experience. The forecast today is a mix of sun and rain, pretty much what we've had in Malaysia since we've been here, so we wanted to make sure we got out early doors before a lot of the rain moved in this afternoon, and there are some really beautiful stop-off points along the way. We passed tiny towns, strawberry farms, and greenhouses growing everything from lettuce to lavender. The roads are winding, but mostly in good shape. Just keep an eye out for buses around the corners. Now there are loads of farms that you can stop at along the way. There's tea plantations, there's vegetable farms. Look at that helmet hair. We are stopping at a lavender farm. That felt very touristy, not much like a farm at all. It's good if you want to stop and get some cutesy pictures, but for us, probably wouldn't recommend it. After an underwhelming stop, we got back on the road, and that's when the real highlight of the day unfolded: the tea fields. Layer after layer of green, curving like waves across the hills. The fields seem endless, perfectly shaped, impossibly still. But every so often, you'll catch a flash of movement. A worker crouched between rows, or a truck winding up a dirt path. Just enough to remind you the landscape is very much alive. From above, it almost doesn't look real, like a soft green quilt laid over the landscape. Most of this tea comes from BOH, Malaysia's biggest tea producer. They've been growing here since the 1920s, and the majority stays local. The elevation here, over 1,500 meters, doesn't just grow great tea, it shapes everything. The air is cooler, the light softer, the view's endless. We stayed longer than we planned, and still left too soon. Well, I have to say it's just been a really lovely morning. I'm glad that the weather has cooperated with us and it stayed dry for the first few hours here. Getting up into the hills amongst the tea plantations was really beautiful, reminiscent of northern Thailand, but in a way maybe even slightly more beautiful just because the hills are so undulating through there. So if you have the chance, come to Cameron Highlands, rent a motorbike if you have a license, and just see where the road takes you. The Cameron Highlands gave us exactly what we came for: a break from the heat, some open roads, and green views for days. But it also left us wondering what we missed. We were only here for 2 nights, and while we caught glimpses of what makes this place special, the tea, the mist, I don't think we stayed long enough to feel it fully. Maybe that's okay. Not every trip has to be deep. Sometimes you just pass through, breathe different air, and keep going. But if I come back, I think I'd stay longer. Maybe skip the tourist farms, talk to more locals. Follow fewer Google reviews and more instincts. Because places like this don't give themselves away quickly. You have to slow down to really see them.